Alright, what's up guys? We're going to talk now about environmental science. So to start us off, we're going to talk about some important resources that are involved with earth science and environmental science. So water resources. Water is an essential nutrient for all plant and animal life. So when you think of water, you got to think of how precious it is for its use on earth. And we'll talk a lot about that later. There's soil resources. It's the top layer of the earth's surface. Is suitable for the growth of plant life. There's wildlife, so wildlife includes all animals that aren't domesticated. These animals are adapted to live in a natural environment without the help of humans. Forestry, when you think of the forest, you think of the industry that grows, manages, and harvests trees for lumber, posts, panels, paper, and many other commodities. So a couple different careers that are available to you guys if you want to be involved in environmental science. So soil conservationists, they're going to conserve the soil. So they assist landowners in implementing the best management practices or best land use practices. There's a soil scientists that deal with soil. They classify soil according to the most appropriate use. So they're going to judge and grade that soil. You guys that have experience with this, and later on in the class, and they're going to be able to tell you what that soil can be used for, whether it's for trees, for farmland, or whatever classification it falls under. So a soil scientist, they require a bachelor's degree. A bachelor's degree is a 4-year degree. A silviculturist, they're one that scientifically manages forests. So when you think of silviculturists, they are going to manage forest land. So they specialize in the care of trees. So there's a guy right there that's judging layers of soil. A forestry consultant, they're going to advise private forest landowners. So if you own forest land, you can ask a forestry consultant to help you and know what you can use that land for. Loggers, they're one who harvests trees. So a forest logger, they harvest trees. There's an urban forester. They're the one responsible for the health and well-being of trees in our cities. So you think urban, you think cities. So urban forester deals with trees in the cities. A wildlife biologist, they do research on habitat and wildlife, and they advise government agencies in establishing fish and game laws and habitat improvement programs. So wildlife biologists, they're going to study, biology in the outdoors and non-domesticated animals. And keep in mind that bachelor's degree that is required for wildlife biologists is a 4-year degree. So there's an example in the picture on the right of some wildlife biologists. A wildlife manager, they often work in government agencies. They advise landowners and they manage game populations on public lands. A wildlife officer or a game warden, they work for an agency, the North Carolina Wildlife Commission in the case of North Carolina, and they're responsible for controlling the harvest of wildlife. So they're the ones that enforce hunting and fishing laws throughout the state and many states throughout the country. A soil technician, they use soil auger and soil tubes to take soil samples, and they do technical field work. So they're out in the fields and actually testing soils in different areas. So there's an example of a game warden or a wildlife officer. A wildlife technician, they work in fields tagging animals, gathering data, and assisting with research. So they could be the people that assist wildlife biologists out in the field. An ecologist, they study the effects of the environment or study different ecosystems and how the environment affects animal life. A forester, they provide assistance in managing forests for the private landowner as well as the commercial grower. So there's an example of, it could be any of these three. They could be taking measurements of different trees as a forester, or they can be studying effects of that tree on the environment. So a timber cruiser. They are hired by private landowners and companies to estimate tree volume on a tract of land. So a timber cruiser, they're going to go through a forest and they're going to measure different trees and basically estimate the value of the wood that's on that land. A logging foreman, they're responsible for overseeing, hence foreman, they oversee and manage logging operations. A skidder operator, they're going to operate a skid loader. They're going to move fallen trees from the cutting site to the loading area. So that's all I got for you for forestry careers. There's many more out there, but that's just to name a few. Check back next time and we'll start talking about biotechnology and the environment.